well-known story of Spartan king Leonidas telling Xerxes no usually refers to the Battle of Thermopylae, a pivotal engagement in the Greco-Persian Wars in 480 BC. Famously, King Leonidas I of Sparta led a small Greek force against King Xerxes I of Persia's vast Persian army. The no, in this context, was an act of disobedience rather than a single word. Xerxes told the Greeks to give up and lay down their weapons, but King Leonidas and a small army refused. They came to represent the valor of the Greek people and their determination to thwart the Persian invasion by standing their ground and engaging in combat until the very end. The movie 300,
This is the Sundeep Show,
which is partially based on the actual events, dramatizes the dialogue. A popular line from this movie, Molon Labe, which means come and take them in Greek, when Xerxes tells the Greeks they have to give up their weapons. This renowned reply exemplifies the Spartans' resolute resolve and resistance when confronted with insurmountable challenges. Although the precise dialogue between Xerxes and King Leonidas is not historically documented, it has since been elevated to the status of an emblematic figure, representing defiance and the determination to safeguard one's country from oppression. Many people in the West took to King Leonidas' stand during the Battle of Thermopylae as an inspiration because of its impact on Western culture. As part of his Mediterranean expansionist and imperialist aims, Fascist Italy's Benito Mussolini made a demand for Greek territory from Prime Minister Ioannis Metaxas in 1940. Mussolini's territorial ambitions encompassed more than mere desire to establish Italian influence and control in the region. They included specific territorial demands for Greek territory. Mussolini had territorial ambitions in the Mediterranean, the Balkans, and North Africa. He aimed to build Italy as a significant colonial power. These aspirations were consistent with Fascist Italy's overarching expansionist objectives, which aimed to establish an Italian empire capable of competing with those of other important European powers, and Greece was strategically located in a key geographic area. Acquiring dominion over Greek territory, specifically the southern Balkans and Aegean Sea islands, would furnish Italy with strategic naval bases that could be leveraged to extend its influence in the eastern Mediterranean. The Italian invasion of Greece in 1940, that is, the Greco-Italian War, had not gone as planned, while the invasion of Albania in 1939 had been mostly unchallenged. The fact that the Greeks were able to push back the Italian attackers was a big embarrassment for Mussolini. One could see Greece's territorial demands as an effort to make up for this setback. Italy was a member of the Axis alliance alongside Nazi Germany, which had its own territorial aspirations in Europe during this time. Mussolini's land demands in Greece were part of his cooperation with Adolf Hitler, who was also pursuing expansionist objectives. Mussolini might have considered control of Greek land as a step toward accomplishing greater imperial goals, including Middle Eastern expansion. In the end, Mussolini's requests for Greek land were part of his bold foreign policy and plan to take over most land. But because Greece refused to abide by these demands, the Greek-Italian War broke out, and other powerful nations soon joined in, intensifying the battle within the larger framework of World War II. Metaxas' rejection of Mussolini's ultimatum on October 28, 1940, initiated the country's involvement in World War II. The ultimatum was delivered to Metaxas by the Italian ambassador to Greece, Emanuele Grazzi. It demanded that Greece either permit Axis soldiers to enter Greek territory and controlled certain undefined strategic locations, or else face the possibility of war. All Metaxas could say in reply was, "Oh, she," which means no. But in reality, he said, "Allons-y la guerre," means then it is war. The Greco-Italian War commenced at 5:30 a.m. when Italian troops stationed in Albania, which was under Italian protectorate at that time, stormed the Greek frontier in response to Metaxas' refusal. Today, on October 28th, this day was observed annually as Alshi Day in Greece, Cyprus, and the Greek populations worldwide.
You're listening to the Sundeep Show.
Not only does the day honor Metaxas' refusal to accept Mussolini's demand, but it also remembers the Greeks' fight back against the invading Italian forces in the Pindus Mountains during the Greco-Italian War and their resistance against the Axis occupation. This war lasted from 28th of October 1940 all the way till April 23rd of 1941. The conflict in question initiated the Balkans campaign of the Allies and Axis powers during World War II. There was a loss as a result of the Italian invasion of Greece. The Italian forces faced unforeseen and persistent opposition from the Hellenic army, which was further complicated by the treacherous mountainous and marshy terrain along the Albanian-Greek border. With help from British air and ground forces, the Greeks stopped the Italian invasion just inside Greek land by the middle of November. They then attacked with most of their army to push the Italians back into Albania. The capture of Klasiura Pass in January 1941 marked the end of this push and brought the Allies within a few dozen kilometers of the Albanian border. Mark Mazowa, a British historian, refers to the Greek counteroffensive and the Italian invasion's defeat as the first Axis setback of the entire war, with the Greeks surpassing everyone with the tenacity of their resistance. In spite of this, Greece was forced to pull back from Albania by April 1941 in order to prevent being cut off by the swift German advance. Greece submitted to Italy on April 23, 1941, and Italian soldiers largely seized the country. This war is important because it was the first land operation against the Axis that went well in World War II. The valiant endeavor of Greece in its conflict with Italy evoked emotions and compassion on a global scale. There were major effects of the Greco-Italian War, both during and after the conflict. The first effective ground campaign against the Axis power in World War II was the Greek counteroffensive. The Greeks' resolute resistance took the world by surprise. The war showed that the fascist government in Italy was weak in both economic and military areas. The Italian army sustained significant losses: 13,755 killed, 50,874 injured, and 25,067 reported missing. The Italian forces utilized substandard equipment that was largely ineffective, and their morale remained disheartening for the duration of the campaign. Because the Greeks were doing well and the Italians couldn't turn things around, Nazi Germany stepped in to protect the honor of their main Axis partner. The German invasion of Greece on April 6, 1941 marked the start of the Battle of Greece. As a result of this intervention, more than 90,000 Greeks were wounded in combat, 5,000 missing, and 13,325 slain, among others, and an undetermined number were injured. Approximately 25,000 of them were also disabled due to frostbite. Greece gave up and surrendered to Italy on April 23, 1941, and Italian soldiers controlled the majority of the country. Greece's valiant battle against Italy touched people's hearts and sparked compassion all around the world. Though a military defeat for Italy, the Greco-Italian War served to raise Allied spirits early in the war.
This is the Sundeep Show.
Greece had a good number of setbacks. They were considerably less capable than the Italians of replenishing their manpower and material losses. Their stock of ammunition and other supplies was dangerously low. Greeks were not able to switch up their personnel and gear like the Italians could. The Greek forces became more and more exhausted as a result. The Italians, on the other hand, had fortified the Albanian fort with 28 divisions by the conclusion of Feb 1941, in contrast to the Greeks' 14 divisions. In March, the Italians tried a spring offensive that didn't work. This offensive, however futile, increased the strain on the Greek soldiers. In April 1941, Greece had to pull back from Albania so that it wouldn't be cut off by the fast German advance. Operation Marita was the code name for the Nazi attack of Greece in World War II. It occurred in April 1941 and was a part of the Greater Balkans campaign. Operation 25, the invasion of Yugoslavia, was carried out concurrently with Operation Marita. Operation Marita's major goal was to seize the area for the Axis powers by swiftly defeating Greek and British Commonwealth forces in mainland Greece. The German invasion force was comprised of a number of divisions, one of which was the 12th Army, which is commanded by Field Marshal Wilhelm List. In Bulgaria, where German troops were stationed, they began their attack. The German forces swiftly advanced across Greece using their blitzkrieg tactics, which are typified by swiftly moving armored formations backed by air and artillery. Despite a valiant effort, the superior German soldiers and tactics eventually defeated the Greek and British Commonwealth forces. After seizing many significant Greek cities, including Thessaloniki and Athens, German soldiers advanced southward. Yugoslavia was already contending with internal political issues when the Allies were confronted with the additional complexity of the concurrent German invasion. By the end of April 1941, German forces had taken over most of mainland Greece, ending any opposition from Greece or the British Commonwealth. The final significant military conflict in the area prior to the end of the Axis occupation was the Battle of Crete, which took place in May 1941. By granting the Axis powers control over the Balkans, thereby securing vital resources and eradicating a potential threat to their southern flank, Operation Marita significantly altered the course of the conflict. The German occupation of Greece would last until 1944, when they finally started to pull out in the face of mounting pressure from the advancing Allies in the Mediterranean. Metaxas is recognized as a man who played an important role in Greek history, particularly during the difficult time preceding World War II. Metaxas won the respect and admiration of many Greeks by refusing Mussolini's ultimatum and standing up to Italian aggression, even though it was hard for him. In 1940, when faced with an ultimatum from Mussolini, Metaxas chose to react with "Oshi," no, symbolizing Greek resolve and national pride. The Greek people were moved by the steadfast refusal to yield to Italian demands, and it became a symbol of resistance against foreign aggression. Mussolini's demands were rejected by Metaxas, who was perceived as firmly defending Greek sovereignty and geographical integrity. This move made it clear that Greece would not be pushed around or ruled over by other countries. Amidst the Greco-Italian War, Metaxas' leadership and the valiant resistance exhibited by the Greek military garnered the admiration of the Greek people. The Greeks were able to push the Italian troops back into Albania, even though they were outnumbered and their enemy was better equipped. Greece felt united as a nation thanks to Metaxas's leadership and the events surrounding Oshi Day, that is today, October 28th. Greeks from all political persuasions and backgrounds came together to defend their nation. Because of his leadership throughout this time, Metaxas has come to represent Greek patriotism and pride in the country. During a difficult moment in Greek history, Metaxas' refusal to submit to Italy and the ensuing Greek resistance to the Axis powers became symbols of courage and resilience.
You're listening to the Sundeep Show.
The implications of Spartan king Leonidas' rejection of Persian king Xerxes' demands were enormous, leading to the legendary Battle of Thermopylae in 480 BC. Leonidas led a small Greek force in the Battle of Thermopylae, which resisted the immense army of Xerxes as it advanced through the city. Leonidas repelled Persian attacks for 2 days. Leonidas led his 300-man royal guard into battle until the very end on the third day, when he gave the order for the majority of his soldiers to withdraw. This valiant protest is among the most well-known historical occurrences. Leonidas' defiance came to represent valor in the face of insurmountable challenges. When Xerxes demanded that they surrender their arms, he said, "Come and take them." A year after the stand at Thermopylae, the Persian invasion was finally put to rest when the other Greek city-states defeated the Persians at the Battle of Plataea. In a nutshell, Leonidas' defiance in the face of Xerxes' requests caused the turning point of the Greco-Persian Wars, which had far-reaching repercussions for both sides and has since become iconic of valiant resistance. By rejecting Mussolini's ultimatum, Greece was thrust into the Greco-Italian War, a confrontation in which the country suffered heavy losses and suffered extensive damage. Even though Greece won the first few battles, things changed when Germany joined the war. The people of Greece suffered and endured hardship when the Axis armies invaded the country. Greece's economy suffered greatly as a result of the occupation. The Greek economy suffered significantly as resources were looted. In Greece, food shortages and famine resulted from the occupation, causing civilians to endure and perish. Greece had a strong resistance movement during the occupation, but it also caused political splits and social unrest between different groups. During the occupation, Greece lost its sovereignty and came under foreign rule, which had a profound negative impact on its sense of national identity. Numerous civilians were adversely affected by the humanitarian crisis that ensued in Greece as a result of the occupation and its repercussions. Greece suffered greatly during World War II as a result of turning down Mussolini's demands and having to live under Axis control. Receptively and firmly rejecting requests, offers, or commitments, while upholding one's personal boundaries and demonstrating deference to others constitutes the art of saying no. You need to be able to express yourself clearly, have empathy for others, and set personal priorities. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Sundeep August. This is the Sundeep Show. Diplomacy of saying no in a political environment is professionally and tastefully denying requests, proposals, or agreements while retaining relationships and avoiding unneeded conflicts. Maintaining a cooperative and courteous stance in the international arena is essential, but it can be difficult to strike the right balance between emphasizing one's own national interests and making progress toward shared goals.
This is the Sundeep Show.